Welcome to CHS Field in St. Paul, the home of the St. Paul Saints for State Class 4A baseball. It's a semifinal matchup here on CCX. The Champlin Park Rebels, the champion of Section 5, against the Minnetonka Skippers, the champion of Section 2. I'm Jay Wilcox along with Drew Keogh, and boy, a great start to the tournament, Drew, for the Rebels coming out thumping their district rival Andover 15-2 and 5. Nobody expected that. They were the 7th seed taking on number 2, but boy, they got it done.
Yeah, as a 7th seed, you're the underdog, but they had pretty similar records. They knew each other pretty well, and coming out and starting off hot at the plate was a big advantage for them to jump out in the big lead.
Dashel Dewey getting the ball today for the Skippers, the right-hander, and Brockton Sandell stepping in to lead it off. That one nearly hit him. Dewey 2-0 on the year and a 2.47 ERA in 22 2/3 innings. So struck out 25 batters and walked 11. At Champlin Park putting up 4 runs right away in the first inning yesterday, and they had lost to Andover during the regular season. They said they didn't play particularly well in that one, and they were confident coming in. And boy, I think that was the surprise of the tournament in that first round.
Yeah, huge confidence booster to get up early in the game, coming here at the state tournament, being the 7th seed. You're happy to win your section, but when you get to state, everybody's a little tense and a little nervous. If you can get out early and score a couple runs in those first couple innings, that's a huge motivation booster for the team.
Sandell smoking that one to third, and it's off the glove of Jacob Mushard. And aboard for the Rebels is Sandell to start the game. Sandell followed by Nick Carlson, the shortstop, then Kellen Oligmuller, the first baseman, Reese George in center, Luke Carlson at third base, Caleb Greer, the right fielder, Christian Dull, the DH, Cal Oakley, the catcher, and Paul DeLong, the left fielder. The lineup for Ryan Tome and the Champlin Park Rebels, making their 5th state tournament appearance and first since 2017, obviously well before any of these guys were near high school age.
Yeah, but they grow up in the program, they watch those other kids make it to state, and you see there's probably some youth kids for both teams down in the stands, so they get that feeling, they get that excitement, and they want to, when they get to sections, they say, I want to do what those older kids did when we were in elementary school, and here they are.
Reese George, the center fielder for Champlin Park, his dad's the principal there, and he said, yep, I definitely remember going to those games the last time they were there. Toss to first, Sandell was back in. They did score that as a base hit, by the way, which I would agree with. That was a really hard one-hop rocket at Mushard.
Hard hit ball to his right. Would have been a really great play had he made it, but these are high school kids. When you hit a ball that hard and they don't come up with it clean down the line, you usually give them a hit.
Inside there. And what do we have, a balk here? Looks like it must have been. Sandell advancing to second. Skippers defensively look like this. Mushard, who had that early chance at third, then Garrett Wheeler, Matthew Marceau, Gus Berger at first, Freiberg, Stortz, and Knutson in the outfield. Lincoln Heitkamp is the catcher. And yeah, I think thinking that it had to have been a balk that pushed him to second.
Yeah, it must have been, because the batter's still at the plate here.
Another high and tight pitch to Carlson. We did mention, the walk numbers are fairly high for Dewey. He struck out a little over a hitter per inning this year, but he's also walked, about half that amount, so a little higher than you'd like. That one is over for a strike.
Yeah, walks will kill you, especially when you get this late in the season. You have hitters who are exposed to high-level pitching, and they understand what that strike zone is, and if they're not close to the plate, and they're going to take it and take a free pass.
That one nips the outside corner. Carlson wasn't so sure, but now the count will run full. Carlson will be playing college ball just down the road a bit at Concordia. And that one missing, and Carlson is aboard with a walk. So Champlin Park trying to start the same way they did in the quarterfinals here. They get the first two aboard here in the top of the first. And big Kellen Oligmuller will step in.
Great at bat, good pitch to take low in the zone. That previous one was probably not as close as that one. That was right at the knees, but just down in the zone, close enough to take it and get that walk.
Minnetonka advancing with a win over Moorhead. They trailed early in that one, but coming back. They actually lost their last 6 regular season games. So the old theory about who's hot coming into the playoffs, that's going to be a balk again.
Talk about a hot start again. This is what Champlin Park was hoping for. Get on top of this Minnetonka team. Get that excitement going in the bench. Get everybody excited and create that energy. And that's just a mental error there.
I'm not sure if he didn't get somebody covering like he was expecting or whatever, but he turned and it was like, uh-oh.
It was interesting. They had their first baseman kind of creeping in as they were playing for a sacrifice bunt, which would be in play here with first and second, nobody out early in the game. But usually you see the third baseman creeping in there too. But he stopped midway through his delivery, and of course that's a balk. Second one of the inning.
Even for guys in, the biggest class and in, good big programs, the nerves certainly come into it. You get to play in this state tournament. I'm sure he's pretty jacked up.
Yeah, definitely nerves, pressure, expectation from previous year, beginning of season. Now you're here and you got to deliver, and sometimes that takes over.
There's a strike to Oligmuller. Tonka, as expected, playing the infield back. Boy, in the first inning like this, you don't want him to get a big inning going. A ground ball scores a run. That's not that big a deal at this point. Tapper foul by Oligmuller.
Yeah, I think what Tonka probably discussed there on the mound was damage control here. You'll trade an out for a run. You'll even trade 2 outs for 2 runs at this point. You just don't want this game to spiral out of control in this first inning to give Champlin Park an opportunity to have a really big lead after a half inning of baseball here.
Fouls that one away left side. Rain certainly impacted the timing of yesterday's games. They got done pretty late here, and there's a possibility of more today, but they actually moved this game up an hour and started about 5 minutes early as well. They're trying to get these in. Oligmuller grounding it to second. A run will score. Skippers do get the first out of the inning. Sandell is in to make it 1-0. Carlson over to third as Oligmuller gets an RBI here. 1-0 Rebels to begin the game, but that's a good out to get if you're Dewey there for the Skippers.
Yeah, great start for Champlin Park, but for Minnetonka, as we were talking about, damage control. At the heart of the lineup here for Champlin Park on at the plate and 2 runners on, you're okay trading it out for a run, and I think anything outside of anything hit directly to third baseman is going to be going over to first base as well here.
Yeah, they're back again for Reese George, the center fielder for Champlin Park. And just missed again outside with that one. 2 balls, no strikes. Boy, the format of the state tournament, your pitching sure gets tested. You're looking at playing 3 games in 4 days if we stay on schedule. And so you're pretty much, unless there's something unusual, you're pretty much going to have to start 3 different pitchers. And that going to show depth more than maybe just that one stud you can ride all the way, which sometimes in section play you kind of can.
Yeah, it's a little more pressure on the starting pitchers here and the third and fourth pitchers. We talk about it in sections. If you have 2 pitchers, you can really get through that and rely on your rotation and some bullpen work. But here, it's pretty condensed schedule. You have 3 games in 4 days. It's a pretty tight schedule.
George will draw the second walk of the inning for the Rebels. So runners at the corners now with 1 out, and Luke Carlson will be the batter. Heitkamp giving his defense instructions on what they're going to do if Champlin Park gets some activity going on the bases.
It's good to see the middle infielders from Minnetonka talking to each other, letting each other know what's going on. Both on a stolen base and a ground ball.
Pitch up high there. George was getting a pretty big lead, and I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see him on the move. Nope, holding here. That one's low and away. Heitkamp has to block it.
Now you're looking for a pitch in your spot, up 2-0 in the count. You want to get something to drive. If it's not there, you take it.
That one is high and tight, and Dewey continues to struggle with his location a little bit here.
Yeah, he's up and in consistently, and you see the Minnetonka coaches start to talk to each other. What do we do here if another runner gets on base? Is it too quick to pull him, or do we let him go out there and try and get out of this jam?
That one is over for a strike. One offering runner from first is going, and the throw down is cut off. George easily takes second.
Good base running there. Interesting that Minnetonka cuts off the throw. I think they realized they weren't going to get him, that the runner had a good break. And a ball that the catcher didn't have the best throw on, so he cut it off and avoided that ball scooting into center field.
So now second and third. The count, though, is full to Luke Carlson. And a called third strike. Carlson caught looking on one on the outside corner. Interesting, the skipper's defense was all charging there.
That was interesting. They stayed back, and I think they were trying to decoy the runner into letting them think that they're going to go over to first with the ground ball, and they came running in during the windup, so the runner wasn't aware of that. And had a ground ball been hit to shortstop or second base, they were probably coming home with it.
And does it distract the hitter? Maybe, maybe not, but he ends up taking a called third. So Caleb Greer will be the hitter now. That one is over for a strike. Boy, Minnetonka, this would be enormous for them if they could get out of this inning with only one run coming across.
Big spot in the game. Champlin Park puts a ball into the outfield. That's going to bring in 2 runs with 2 outs. That runner from second is breaking on contact.
Just inside with that one. Another thing you'll find when you get into the state tournament is you're not going to have umpires that'll say, well, that was close enough. That, you know, I'll give them a strike. I mean, they're going to make you throw strikes.
Yeah, there's no expanding the strike zone because they're not finding it and the game's going long. This is a state tournament. These umpires have worked all season long too to get here, and it's their chance to show that they have a good strike zone and consistency.
That one way outside. Yeah, I think there's times when you maybe Taylor calls to game situational. I don't know that anybody would ever admit it or anything, but I don't think, when you get to this point, there's no sympathy for anybody if the other school is bigger and better or anything like that. It's a state tournament.
Yep.
And that'll be ball 4. So Greer draws a walk. Third walk of the inning for Dewey. And Christian Dull will step up here for Champlin Park. I'm sure Minnetonka, you don't come into the game thinking about already getting somebody loose in the first inning, but it has not been a especially good start. However, he does still have the opportunity to get out of it, as we said, with only 1 run scoring. On the flip side, Champlin Park could blow it open with a base hit.
Yeah, big spot in the game. I mean, Minnetonka's 1 pitch away from getting out of this jam, and Champlin Park's 1 hit away from really breaking this open. And it's interesting to warm a pitcher up. You got to send him all the way out to left field here in CHS, and unless you got something going on in the dugout or behind in the locker rooms.
Dull, a big rip and a miss at that one. So he falls behind 0-2. And a called third as Dull is caught looking, and Dewey battles back to get out of it. A rocky first inning, but not too bad, all things considered. 1 run, 1 hit, and they leave 3. So after a half inning, Champlin Park, a good start, but not as good as it looked like it might be. They lead it 1-0, and Minnetonka will get the first opportunities with the bats here. Paul Twenge, kind of staggering numbers here, Drew. years as head coach, 50, and over 1,000 wins and nearly 1,000 losses, too. Here's their lineup. Marceau, the second baseman, leads it off. Then Garrett Wheeler at short. Jacob Mushert at third base. Gus Berger at first. Carter Stortz in center field. Miles Humphreys the DH. Freiberg in left field. Knutson in right. And Heitkamp, the catcher, hitting in the number 9 slot for the Skippers. And defensively for Champlin Park, Carlson, Sandell, and Oligmiller in the infield. DeLong, George, and Greer in the outfield. Cal Oakley behind the plate, and the ball today going to junior right-hander Donovan Vendel. They got a good start in that quarterfinal win from Evan Nordby, the guy we saw in the second and clincher in the Section 5 championship. So Nordby they used in that first round, and Donovan Vendel getting the opportunity here in this one.
Yeah, and that's one of the little things in this when you get to the state tournament is a 10-run win is pretty big. Not only because you have great offense and you're playing good defense out in the field, but you save your pitchers. You don't have to go the full game. You don't have to go full 6 innings or even extra innings to get 3-4 pitchers deep, and you keep those starting pitchers fresh for the next game.
Talked about nerves a little bit, and that it was a pretty long top of the first, and Vendel, I'm sure, is over there. I mean, yes, you want your team to score and all that, but I'm sure he was getting some butterflies as he was getting ready to come out and take the mound there.
Yeah, of course, he's sitting there hoping his team scores 3-4 more runs in that inning, but he's also anxious to get on the mound and show that he can throw strikes. And, of course, it's nice to start off the game early around the zone. If you're not hitting the zone, you're just missing the corner, and then you can make slight adjustments to get those strikes across the plate.
Sure, I've seen a pitcher with exactly that color combination of glove as Donovan has.
That is the trend. That's the colors.
Marceau.
So a couple of the Minnetonka kids had the blue glove to match their skipper blue, but that is not Champlin Park colors, but that is definitely one of the trendy gloves to get these days.
Marceau hitting .329 this year for the Skippers. Got 8 doubles and a triple. I remember back a few years, many years, when somebody gave me a red glove, and the coach I had at the time wasn't impressed. That's not a baseball color glove. Breaking ball is over for a strike.
Yeah, some of these glove manufacturers, and I'm pretty sure that's one of them, you can customize that glove beyond belief. It's not mass production anymore. You can customize it through the internet and get any color you want, any place.
That one just off the plate, and Vendel finding out what Dewey did in the top of the first, that a couple inches outside is not going to be a strike. Tapper foul there. At Champlin Park lost their last 2 regular season games. As we said, Minnetonka lost their last 6. So the old thing about being hot doesn't necessarily translate. Here's Reese George camping underneath that one. Marceau is out on a fly out to short center to begin the bottom of the first, and Garrett Wheeler will be the hitter for Tonka. Garrett hitting .354 this year. 19 runs batted in. That's 7 doubles among his hits, a couple of triples.
Yeah, the top of the order here for Minnetonka is pretty dangerous. I think I saw they had 7 of their 11 hits yesterday, so they usually like to get things started with the top of the order and then fill it in on the backside and turn it over and get that group up again.
And Wheeler .475 on base percentage, which leads the team among guys who are regulars. So nearly half of every time he's come up this season, he's on.
Yeah, base runners are key. Of course, it's great to get that good average and get hits, but any way you can get on is helpful for the team.
Lifting that one back, foul and out of play. One-two pitch here from Vendel, another foul.
Fun ricochet for the kids down in the front row there. Came off the stadium's facade here and bounced right back into that dugout so the young kids get a ball.
Ooh, close one, but outside. 2-2. Oakley trying to frame that one up a little bit. I think he maybe made it look closer than it really was.
Yeah, good take, but good catcher work there. You want to go out and get that ball as it's coming across the plate. Don't welcome it and receive it. You want to go get it and swipe that glove across the plate.
Well, that one is on the inside corner for a called third strike. Wheeler down looking. 2 up, 2 down for Vendel against the Skippers here, and Mushard will be the batter.
Looked like a tailing fastball on the inside. Got the strikeout there. Great pitch.
Yeah, and a good mix from the previous one that was just off the outside corner, coming back to that one tailing inside. Mushard, a big rip and a miss.
That same pitch, just tailing fastball or off-speed pitch, whatever it is, it's moving from the left-handed batter's box over to the plate.
Mushard, 390 hitter this year, team high 24 runs batted in. He has 3 home runs, and Drew, that we said, kind of an unusual name, and going back to Hopkins days, he's got a relative that played for the Royals, right?
MUSGJERD. It's always got those confused growing up with these Mushards. Mush. You'd always just call him Mush because nobody could understand how to pronounce his name until they told you.
That one missing high and away.
Yeah, big baseball family. I know his father played for Hopkins, and I remember seeing, I don't know if it was him or his brother, but they had an amazing setup of baseball cards in their basement, and they were happy to show them off when they're 4 or 5 years old. It was fun to see these kids get so into baseball, and their dad was so excited. Now here he is playing the state tournament.
That one on the outside corner, and Vendel battles back to run the count full here to Mushard. Tonka trying to get its first base runner here. They trail 1-0, bottom of the first. Foul that one away. Minnetonka won all of their section games, but they had extra innings in the first 2 playoff games, Chaska and Shakopee in Section 2. And, of course, as we saw last week, Champlin Park won their first 3, but then were shut out by Maple Grove in the opening of that, what turned into a 2-game doubleheader. And things didn't look so good for them for, that first game. Maple Grove kind of took it to them, and they fell behind 3-1 in the second game as well. But so the paths in both of the sections these teams are in are usually not easy, and that was the case. And a swing and a miss, a high breaking ball, and Mushard down on strikes, a 1-2-3 first for Vendel. We've completed 1 inning here at CHS. Champlin Park 1, Minnetonka 0 here on CCX.
In 1935, Topline Financial Credit Union was founded by workers from our local phone company, by people who dedicated their lives to keeping our community connected. At Topline Financial, that dedication lives on because we believe that dreams are achieved when we connect with each other. So if you're dreaming of buying a new home or car, or planning for your future, or saving for that next vacation, connect with us. We'll help you get there, because connected, we all do better.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back here to CHS Field along with Drew Keogh. I'm Jay Wilcox. Thanks for joining us for State 4A Baseball semifinal round matchup. Champlin Park scoring 1 in the top of the first. Minnetonka went down 1-2-3. So we begin the top of the second now with the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Champlin Park. Cal Oakley stepping in to lead it off. And that one nicked him. He will be aboard to begin the second after Dewey kind of fortunate to get out of the first with only 1 run scoring. He walked 3 hitters and gave up a sharp ball that ate up the third baseman for a base hit. Oakley will be run for as a courtesy runner coming out as Preston Nelson.
Yeah, we've seen pretty much every batter for Champlin Park get their toes almost up on that line, that batter's box line. Makes it really tough for a pitcher to try and fight that inside corner and run the risk of hitting the batter, just like we saw right there.
Paul DeLong stepping in for the Rebels. See if they're thinking bunt. It sure looks like it. And what did that hit?
It must have hit the ground.
Huh. I thought maybe it hit the batter or the bat. Apparently neither, as it'll go to the backstop and not Oakley, Nelson, his runner, advances to second.
You assume the bunt is still in play. I think it hits the dirt, and it looks like it hit his thigh. It sounded like it hit his thigh, but a curveball bounces back towards the catcher.
Yeah,
tough play to hit.
Must have just hit the catcher's equipment there. So wild pitch. Obviously, he did what he wanted in terms of making it a really tough one to bunt, but and DeLong pulls the bat back and swings. I tell you what, the first baseman could have came and shook the hand of DeLong. He was about,
dangerous
6 feet away from the batter. They're trying to force you to bunt the ball where they want you to bunt it. He does bunt it, and it's foul. Must have hit DeLong.
Yep, hit him in the box, so it's still a foul ball. If it hits him out of the box, he's out, but hit him in the box. So fortunately for him, he gets another pitch too.
See where this one gets him right. Oh, yeah.
Good bunting form there. Got the ball down, just not far enough out in front of the plate. He comes back and hits him in the legs.
Ooh, tough one to take there with 2 strikes now, 2-2. So not able to get the bunt down, which I always kind of jokingly say for a lot of hitters, maybe that was what they were hoping for anyway, was to be able to swing away. But and a rip and a miss, and DeLong goes down on strikes for out number 1. So they don't get the bunt down. However, on that wild pitch, the runner moved up anyway, kind of the same effect. So Brockton Sandell will bat now. He started the game with a wicked 1 hopper off the third baseman that they scored as an infield hit. As you get a look at that one tailing away. 3rd strikeout in the game already for Dewey. He's had control issues though as well. That one taken for a ball. Sounds like weather-wise probably a good thing to be playing the first game of the day rather than one later.
Yeah.
And that pitch taken up high for a ball there by Sandell.
Yeah, if you're the high school, you you want to either get both these games in or you don't want to play either of them, because you don't want to give this first game an advantage so the pitcher has an extra day of rest, because tomorrow's not going to be much better. It's supposed to rain early in the day. A lot of rain tonight. Field's going to be wet. Fortunately here, it's a professional grade field, so the drainage should be fine. They should be able to get out here, but I don't know by what time. Maybe not until 4 or 5 tomorrow afternoon.
And then Target Field, the site for the championships. I know last year we had some, I think, multiple.
It was delayed like a week or so, wasn't it?
Yeah, we ended up going to the Totino Grace game in Class 3A, and it was at least twice that it was moved back.
It goes back to that depth of your pitching. You know, if you have days off, you can go back to that top pitcher more likely.
And that's exactly what the Eagles rode the right arm of Tommy Heifert. Quarterfinal great outing and championship great outing. They were defeated, though, in the first round in 3A yesterday by Hutch. 3-1 pitch, Sandell, a big rip and a miss. And now the count running full with Nick Carlson waiting on deck here for the Rebels. There's kind of some positive and negative in that first inning. They got a lot of runners, but I'm sure they feel like, gosh, we look like we're going to score more than one. That one is down low for a ball, and Sandell will draw a walk.
Yeah, as happy as Champlin Park is being up 1-0, the momentum is pretty close to being in Minnetonka's favor here. If they get a ground ball up the middle or hard to the third baseman, they can turn a double play in. You could see their emotions, their excitement was pretty high after getting out of that bases loaded jam in the first inning. If they're able to get out of this jam and get to the plate and try and tie this game up in the bottom of the second.
Taken for a ball there, and I'm sure for Tonka, they're kind of thinking, make them prove they can hit the ball. Really, only one ball's been put in play hard, that very first batter of the game.
Yeah.
But the walks have been the issue.
Couple walks, couple balks, hit batters. Pitch count's got to be getting up there for this only in the second inning here. They did send a few kids down to the bullpen out there in between innings, so.
That one is over for a strike, 2-1. Nick Carlson got as far as third base in that top of the first. And strike two. And this one lined over the second baseman, and that'll be in for a hit and will score a run. Carlson makes a big turn, hangs on at first. Sandell over to third. Nelson scores, and it's 2-0 Champlin Park. We said they hadn't been putting too many balls in play with authority. That one was pretty well hit and right over the second baseman.
Yeah, great piece of hitting there on the breaking ball. Hits it over the second baseman on a line drive. Both runners get good jumps. The runner from first picking up the ball going into right center field easily makes it over third base to set up the first and third here.
So Oleg Mueller will be the batter. Yeah, they both got good looks at that ball and could realize it was going to go over his head. And the other thing about it, too, is it was kind of into right center, so it wasn't directly at an outfielder either. That made it even more likely that Sandell was going to make third without too much trouble, and that's exactly what happened. Oleg Mueller lifting one to center field. Let's see, this one's pretty shallow. They're going to bluff the tag. Throw will come all the way through to the plate, but Sandell not able to advance on that one, so Oleg Mueller a short fly out. He drove in a run with a grounder the first time, and right off the bat I was thinking this one, borderline whether they could maybe score a run with this, but not quite the case. So Reese George will be the hitter, and now conference for Minnetonka.
Yeah, in that last play, good heads-up play by the middle infield. I think they realized the center fielder either didn't pick it up right away or was playing too deep to try and come in and get that ball. And the shortstop realized, okay, I got to go get that ball, and got that ball. And the second out here, now it looks like we might get pitching change.
Yes, as they'll come and get the ball, and Nolan Bartz will be the hitter. Dewey's probably thinking, hey, I just got an out here, but it's been a rocky start. So they will lift him here with 2 outs in the second inning. We'll take a break here as the new pitcher Bartz loosens up for Minnetonka. Champlin Park leading at 2-0 and looking to add more here in the second.
In 1935, Topline Financial Credit Union was founded by workers from our local phone company, by people who dedicated their lives to keeping our community connected. At Topline Financial, that dedication lives on because we believe that dreams are achieved when we connect with each other. So if you're dreaming of buying a new home or car, or planning for your future, or saving for that next vacation, connect with us. We'll help you get there, because connected we all do better.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back. So a shorter start than Dewey was hoping for, and my mistake going to break there. Mushard is coming in to pitch, moving over from third, and Nolan Bart's coming in to replace him as the infielder. So Mushard now pitching with runners at the corners and Reese George at the plate. Mushard on the year 4-2 and a 1.27 ERA in 22 innings. He's allowed 14 hits. Grounded to third. They will go to first to get the out. And the Rebels are done in the second. Again, an eventful inning. They get one, but had an opportunity for perhaps more. One run on one hit, and they'll leave one. So we go to the bottom of the second, 2-0 Champlin Park.
In 1935, Topline Financial Credit Union was founded by workers from our local phone company, by people who dedicated their lives to keeping our community connected. At Topline Financial, that dedication lives on because we believe that dreams are achieved when we connect with each other. So if you're dreaming of buying a new home or car, or planning for your future, or saving for that next vacation, connect with us. We'll help you get there, because connected, we all do better.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back. Champlin Park leading Minnetonka 2-0, but quite a career for Altwengi and with the Skippers reaching 1,000 wins. His team, a slow start today, but obviously still plenty of ball to go here. And Gus Berger will lead off the second as the 4, 5, 6 hitters come up against Donovan Vendel.
Yeah, Twinkie, quite the career. Been a staple here in Minnetonka baseball, also Minnesota baseball in general for high school sports, and even at the national level getting recognition.
That one in the dirt for a ball. Berger hitting .314 this year. 7 doubles, a triple, a home run. He's driven in 17. Got a lot of left-handed bats in their lineup. That one is over for a strike. Hits it hard, and that'll be through for a base hit. Minnetonka's first hit and first base runner here, leading off the second as Berger jumped on that one. No chance for the second baseman Sandell to get it, and Tonka trying to get their offense going.
Yeah, good piece of hitting. Went with the ball, pulled it down the right side of the field, and in between that gap between first and second base to get that leadoff runner on base.
Carter Stortz, the batter, he's hitting .278. Walked 7 times as well. Pitched low and away. Oakley with the block.
Nice job of catching there. You don't have to come up with it cleanly. If you have a strong enough arm and you're confident you're going to throw it accurately, you block that ball, put it in front of you, and keep that runner close to first base.
That one also low and away. And that one missing up high, so 3 balls, no strikes here to Storts. Bendel, who had a pretty quick and relatively easy first inning, gives up a single to start the second, and now falling behind 3-0 to the next hitter, Storts. That one a fastball over for a strike.
Good take. Now you're still up in the count 3-1. You're looking for a fastball over the plate and you want to drive it. If it's not where you need it, don't chase it and hit yourself into a double play. Champlin Park, you definitely don't want to give up a free pass here.
And this one lifted to right field. It's going to hang up though, and Greer drifting over and makes the catch. I thought that one had a chance to be down for a hit off the bat, but stayed up, and Greer got a pretty good read on it. So a well hit out there by Storts, and now Miles Humphreys, the DH, will step in.
Yeah, nice play there by the right fielder to read that ball off the bat. You could hear it. It was hit really well, so you knew it was going to go. So didn't have to worry about that falling in front of him. Good range to his right to get the out.
Humphreys a .219 average this year. And that one just outside. Drives this one down the right field line. It'll get out of play. Nice one-hop catch there up by somebody working here.
Sign him up.
Wasn't made it look easy. I love this ballpark too.
Oh.
I mean, obviously target field is the ultimate goal,
Yeah.
but for a high school tournament, this is the perfect size too. Target field, let's be honest, 800 people in a 40,000 seat stadium isn't exactly got him swinging on that one inside, tailing in at him, and Humphreys a real defensive swing.
Yeah, that was inside, but committed and got that swing across. Not a pitch he was expecting to swing at, but he did. And to your point, I love this park. There's always something to watch, and we don't show it because we're focusing on the game, but as you're watching the traffic go by, an industrial area with the train tracks and the river right here.
Runner is going, lifted to center. George turning and can't find it. It'll be down for a hit. And then he's down as it rolls to the track. A lot of room to run here. Minnetonka will score 1. And the batter Humphreys will be held at third. And it's 2-1 Champlin Park. Well, we gave some praise to George for his outfield abilities in that section final, but he got himself turned around on that one and just couldn't find it. I guess it'll end up as a triple, although not especially well played by the center fielder.
Yeah, well hit ball over his head from the start, and he got turned around, literally turned around. He still tracked the ball, just a bigger field, and he ran out of gas to try and catch that ball, and then was a little frustrated. I don't think it really mattered because the runner stayed at third, but he was able to get the ball in and keep him at third. Even if he hustles up to get that ball right away, he's not keeping him at second. So now the infield comes in except for first base.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the outcome of that play would have been any different, and it's obviously a very long way to run for the right and left fielders to back that up too. He realized I better go get this because nobody else can get here in time. I thought for a moment there was a chance Humphreys might be able to circle him there, but Rebels got back into it. So as Drew said, infield is pulled way in now for Freiburg. 1 out, runner at third. Tonka a chance to tie it up here. And a little tap foul.
The thing about infield in is it's something that you always do, but unless the ball's hit directly at your infielder, you're probably not going to get that runner at home. So it is a tough play because it also allows more space for the ball to get through any of these infielders, especially on the left and right side of the field.
Popped up, it'll get out of play. And I would consider this a very aggressive infield in too. They're even in a couple steps on the grass. I mean, yeah, if it's not hit right at them, they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that is there's virtually no chance of this runner scoring if it is hit to them. Turns on this one, but way foul down the left field line. Complexion of the game flipping a little bit here in the bottom of the second as Tonka getting a leadoff single, and then after a flyout, a long triple over the center fielder's head. Yeah, and then looking back at that replay too with George, he looked awkward on it, but at the same time, like you said, I don't think the outcome would have necessarily been any different.
No. And I think if he was more familiar with the space of this field, he probably would have been able to make that play. But he does play pretty shallow. You can even see him here on this batter. He's 10, 15 feet in further than the corner outfielders. I think that's just his confidence and an ability to go back and track down the ball. But in this bigger field, you have more room behind you, so you got to be careful.
Two-two pitch coming here. And that'll be a single to right field. The Skippers tie it up as Freiberg punches that one to right. Humphreys is in, and Minnetonka quickly evens things up. And boy, it looks even bigger now that first inning especially only led to 1 run for Champlin Park when it looked like there was a chance they'd get a lot more than that.
Yeah, we said it after the first inning that Minnetonka was able to get out of that jam, left the bases loaded. They had a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. And then they had the same kind of situation at the top of the second, and Champlin Park was only able to get 1 across. So a lot of excitement and energy going for Minnetonka, tying this game up with only a couple of base runners so far.
Knutson, the batter, fouls this one straight back. And that last one, by the way, was not one of those where the infield being in had any impact. It was going to be well over the second baseman's head regardless.
Yeah, well hit ball to right field, right at the right fielder. Good play to get down and keep that ball in front of you no matter what, but easily scores that run.
Flip to first. Looking at their stolen base numbers, Minnetonka is a team that likes to run a bit. They've got 3 guys in double figures in stolen bases, which is more than many teams. Big cut and a miss. Knutson has about half as many at-bats as some of the guys who have been in the lineup every day, 179 average. Does have a couple of doubles and a triple to his credit. Fouling that one back. Runner going, swing and a miss, throw down, and ball dropped by Sandell. I don't think they quite would have had him anyway, but he seemed to take his eye off it, as that one throw was a little higher than ideal, but it was certainly one that should have been caught. I don't quite think they would have had him anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he had him, but the ball sails away. Good job by the second baseman to sell the runner. But he has the ball. The runner picks the ball up in center field, but good reaction there by the center fielder. Go pick it up and make sure it doesn't advance to third.
Oof, that one way outside as Heitkamp steps in. So wild pitch will get Freiberg over to third.
I was just going to say, keeping that runner at second is a nice thing. It's a big deal because you got to anticipate what's next. A simple little play like that, if he's on third base, he's going to come in and score that go-ahead run.
Heitkamp, a .221 hitter. Fouling that one straight back. We talked about it though in section play. Schools of the size of these two and these 4A teams in the state tournament, even the 8-9 hitters usually are capable of putting the ball in play with some authority. I mean, obviously your top of your lineup is where you have your most dangerous hitters, but it doesn't mean that the bottom guys aren't capable of doing some damage too.
Yeah, definitely schools the size of these two schools. Deep programs, it starts with the youth program. You got to build from the youth level up, and as they get to this state tournament with juniors, sophomores, and seniors, mostly on the varsity teams here, you have a ton of kids who can hit the ball.
Good stop there by Oakley to keep that runner at third. Now 3-1 to Heitkamp. He doesn't want to lose the number 9 hitter. He got the big strikeout of Knutson to record the second out, but Tonka chance to turn that order over and bring it up to the top with a couple on. And that's exactly what will happen as Heitkamp draws a walk. See if they will run for him here. It sure looks like they will, yes, as courtesy runner coming out. Champlin Park, a little defensive conference here. First inning went well for them defensively. The second not as well. They've given up, as Vendel gave up a leadoff single, followed by a triple, and then another single. And now a walk, so going to have some activity heading out to the bullpen in left field here. And again, you have to, I mean, you can't really afford to give guys a lot of time to work through trouble in these state tournament games, because, you know, obviously it's single elimination in terms of, you know, you're still alive, but you'd be in the third place game. You can no longer win the championship, unlike section play, where I think that factors in a little bit, that, you know, you're not done if you lose that for the first time.
Yeah, and the further you get into the playoffs, the more talented these teams become and the depth of their team, and there's really no holes in the hitting lineup. Like you just said earlier, the 9-hitter could easily hit a line drive, double, triple, or a home run in most of these programs.
Marceau stepping in, runners at the corners, hits it to third. Luke Carlson up with it, throws him out, so one pitch and they get out of trouble. However, the Skippers do tie it up, 2 runs on 3 hits, and they leave a couple aboard. We've completed 2 innings, Champlin Park 2 and Minnetonka 2 here on CCX Sports.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back here to beautiful CHS Field in St. Paul, home of the St. Paul Saints and home of the State 4A baseball tournament here. We go to inning number 3. Luke Carlson stepping in to lead it off for Champlin Park. We are tied up at 2. Jacob Mushard on in relief for Minnetonka last inning, and he will start this third. Hard hit ball. That'll be down for a hit. Carlson will hang on at first base with a single here to begin the third as he stroked that one nicely down the left field line. And Caleb Greer will be the batter now for the Rebels.
Yeah, good piece of hitting, good hustle out of the box to put the pressure on the left fielder there. He hustled out of the box. It was a good 10-15 feet to the right of the left fielder, so a good hustle out of the box puts you in a position to possibly go to second base. He picked up the ball as he's rounding first and realized he didn't have a chance, but good leadoff single here.
And that one in the dirt, and Carlson will dig for second and make it. Heitkamp, the ball popped up in the air. He did as best he could to get a strong throw down there, but not quite in time, and Carlson moving up on a wild pitch. This is one where if you don't break immediately, you could be in trouble, but ends up making it fairly easily. That one is outside. Minnetonka expecting bunt again. First baseman Berger way in.
Much safer play with the right-handed hitter up before he was doing with the left-handed hitter, because if they turn around and start swinging, that makes it a dangerous play.
Here's a liner to center. That'll be in for a hit. Carlson, though, held up, and he's going to be held at third. He wasn't entirely sure if that one had a chance to be caught or not, so he will not take any chances as Greer slapping a single to center. He's been on twice. Runners at the corners for Christian Dull.
Yeah, good solid line drive over the second baseman's head. Good base running here by Champlin Park, making sure you get that ball down. With nobody out, you're probably going to get in. The odds are you're going to get in. So you want to make sure you don't get doubled off, and a nice job by the runner at first base to round the bag and realize there's nobody there, so you can get off a couple extra steps and make sure that second baseman doesn't tag in behind you.
Christian Dull, the hitter, he took a called third strike his first time up. That is outside for ball one. Runner from first is going. They will throw down and safe. Greer slid to the back of the bag there, and for a moment it looked like his hand might have come off or be about to anyway, and that's what Tonka was hoping, but they don't get the out. Carlson does not score from third, obviously, though.
Yeah, good strong throw. Great base running there to realize where the fielder is. You slide to the opposite side of the bag the fielder is, and you do what you can to hang on to the bag, and that's kind of where the sliding mitt might have been a little bit of a disadvantage. He almost does pull his hand off, but looks like he does keep it on.
Dull, a big rip and a miss. Contrasting strategies a little bit here. Again, Minnetonka not playing the infield up in this spot, whereas Champlin Park has been pretty aggressive about doing so. Ball four, and Dull draws a walk. So inning starts single, and walk. Bases loaded, nobody out for Oakley. And Minnetonka, I'm going to talk about this a little bit here. I don't think Mushard's being lifted, but gotta get themselves together strategy-wise.
Yeah, it's a little bit of reminding them why they're here. They've had a good season. You got a deep team. Put the ball in play. Let these guys put the ball in play and trust your defense. Don't give up free passes, and also make sure to not let them get too stressed out about this. Just get the outs. You're okay trading out for a run, making sure everybody knows if the ball's hit the right side of the field, what are we doing? If it's hit the left side of the field, what are we doing? And making sure that everybody's on the same page, because we saw it a couple times earlier in the game where Minnetonka had a balk where the pitcher was in the middle of a windup because he wasn't sure what was going on, and here you just want to talk it through and you bring the corners in, and middle field's playing at double play depth.
Oakley was hit by a pitch his first time up, and his runner Nelson ended up scoring the second run of the game for Champlin Park. Takes that one up high for a ball. And a rip and a miss, and it's 1-1. To short, there's 1 and 2. A run does score, but the Skippers get a big double play there. Champlin Park retakes the lead at 3-2. Greer over to third.
It worked out perfectly for Minnetonka. If their infield is in on the grass, that's probably getting through the middle part of the infield. Nice easy hop for the shortstop. Realizes, there's a mental clock. When the ball's hit hard like that, you need to slow things down, make sure you make the play, get the ball to the second baseman. Second baseman got it cleanly and easily over to first base to get the double play.
Pitch is way up high, but it bounces right back to Heitkamp, and he will make the tag. Greer not sure that ball was going to come back the way it did. It was a great bounce for the Skippers. So Greer is out at home, and the Rebels are done in the third. They get 1 run on 2 base hits, and no one left aboard. This is the tailor-made hop for the catcher. He's waiting for the runner at that point and gets the tag on. 3-2 Rebels as we go to the bottom of the third.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there, choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Cloudy and a little breezy here today, but so far dry as Champlin Park and Minnetonka battle here in the Class 4A semifinals at CHS Field. We go to the bottom half of inning number 3. Champlin Park up 3-2. Skippers will have their 2-3-4 hitters coming up after they scored twice in the second inning to, at the time, tie it up. And, you know, as Drew and I were talking in between innings here, you don't, ever feel bad about scoring a run in an inning like Champlin Park, but gosh, it feels like they could definitely have more than the 3 that they've been able to put up.
I wish I knew the analytics on this, but when you have bases loaded and nobody out, the odds of scoring more than 1 run is got to be pretty high. But Champlin Park just wasn't able to get a breakout hit there. It had that double play and then the rough break where the ball bounced straight back to the catcher, and the runner coming home gets tagged out to end the inning.
Garrett Wheeler took a called third strike his first time up. That one is outside. And I feel like, too, that, we talked about Minnetonka keeping the infield back. I think the trend of this game is that it looks like there's going to be a few more runs along the way, and I think that maybe plays into the way they played that, and it turned out perfect to get that double play. Bendel has that one go off his glove, and not in time. It'll be an E1. Reached out for that one and seemed to be right in his mitt, but he couldn't squeeze it, and it bounced just far enough away for Wheeler to beat it out.
A lot easier said than done. You're falling off that mound. You're dropping off the mound, coming to your left towards first base, and it looked like it was going right in his glove, but as you change that altitude on the pitch of the mound, it's a tougher play than it looks like because there's a lot going on, and fortunately just wasn't able to come up with it cleanly, and good hustle out of the box. The runner beats a throw to first base.
Looks like they are scoring that as a hit. Musher will be the batter now for Tonka. Oakley having to make another block there. Musher struck out swinging in the first inning. Slapping that one foul on the left side.
You can see it on that camera shot, the haziness and the smoke of in the air, and there's an air quality alert, but it's just kind of settles. Fortunately, there's a little bit of a breeze, so it continues to move, but you can see the smoke throughout the air.
Musher asking for time here.
It is nice because this time of year, especially high school baseball state tournament time, it easily could be 95 and muggy, so it's nice 70 degrees today and a little breeze.
Oh, let's see. Did he get him? No, not quite. He definitely had Wheeler leaning. Bendel wheeling and throwing to first, and I think it was just more a question of whether the ball was in a place to tag. Yeah, just got back.
Good base running there. Good aggressive. Trying to get a jump, but made it back just in time.
Rips this one foul down the right field side. One-two count here. Wheeler getting a lead over there again at first. And another foul ball.
Good defensive swing there on a 2-strike count. You're trying to protect that plate. You don't want to take a third strike. You do want to put the ball in play. Of course, you want to get a hit, but you want to do what you can to get that runner on to second base. Put a ball in play over the third baseman. If your runner gets a good jump, you're going to still get the job done and have a productive out.
Runner is going, pitch way inside, and no chance for Oakley on that one. Wheeler will swipe second. Couldn't ask for a better ball to run on. That ball was like over the batter's feet, and Oakley really no chance on that one.
Surprised it didn't hit him, but got out of the way and allowed that runner to get down to second base. Now he's got a scoring opportunity here. Try and tie the game.
Little activity down there as Henshin will be loosening up. He pitched in relief yesterday and came in and really did a nice job in that first section final after their starter didn't fare as well, but he came in and shut Maple Grove down from there. As it turned out, it didn't help them come back, but still was a good performance.
Yeah, and it builds confidence. It builds confidence in the coach as well as the player, so you can go to him in a pressure situation just like today is.
Lifted out to left field. DeLong coming over. It is a fair ball catch. Out number 1 here in the third, and Berger will be the batter for Minnetonka.
Good communication there. I don't know if you could hear it on the telecast, but the fielder were telling him he has room. This is only probably the second time they've played at this field, and that there's not a lot of room down the left field line when you get towards the fence, on the outfield fence, but it does open up, so you got to let your outfielders know if you have room, especially in a ball like that that's just going straight up and down. It's not tailing or moving from left to right or right to left. Let them know that they have room, and they can feel confident that they're giving you accurate information.
Yeah, down the line there's almost no room, but even in general, this isn't a particularly big foul area. There are definitely fields that these teams play on that have a little more. Berger ripped the single to begin the second inning and came in to score the first run for Tonka. And he hits this one in a similar spot, driving it into right field for a hit. They're going to send the runner to the plate, and he will make it. Tied up at 3. Wheeler never hesitated, got a good break, and he's a pretty fast runner as well. So Minnetonka battling back again to tie it up after falling behind.
Good aggressive base running again by Minnetonka. Knowing the situation on a ball hit to the right side of the field, you pick it up, make sure it's down, and then you bust your butt around third base. Because when it's on the right side of the field, you have more time to get back to third base. You listen to your coach. Your coach is going to be probably halfway down the third baseline telling you to get back or go. In that situation, I just had first slide to tie the game up.
So Stortz will be the batter now for Minnetonka. Pitch is in the dirt. Oakley blocked it, but it gets far enough away that it will allow Berger to advance. Good heads-up base running there.
And you try and teach your runners, and these programs have super great coaching and they learn it young, is you get a good secondary lead. And by secondary lead, meaning once that ball leaves the hand, you get a little bit more of a lead. And the reason you do that is you get a shorter approach to that next bag, and your momentum's going towards the bag in case something like that happens. You're already a quarter of the way there by the time the catcher's picking up the ball.
Conference on the mound here for Champlin Park. Umpire coming out basically saying, okay, coach, it's time you make a decision. He doesn't reach for the ball yet, I don't think. I'm going to stick with Fendel here. Yeah, it's a tough thing to know. I mean, if you had a really good idea what the guy coming into the pen was going to do, you'd have a better feel for this. But I mean,
these are kids.
Yeah, there isn't any sure thing that anybody else that comes in is going to fare a whole lot better. I wouldn't say by any means that he's pitched poorly, but I mean both pitchers. There've been some balls hit, there've been some walks. It's just come in a little different ways. But Stortz fly to right field his first time up, 0 for 1. That one is a strike. So 1 out, runner at second. The potential go-ahead run for Minnetonka. They have just tied it up at 3-3. They have not yet been ahead in the game, but trying to change that here. That one's way outside. We could be in a spot where Vendel might be kind of one batter at a time here a little bit. Breaking ball over for a strike. Cretin-Durham Hall and Farmington will meet in the other semifinal. Ripping it foul down the left field line.
Cretin having a great season, and Farmington, one of those programs like Shakopee or Prior Lake that is just continually growing at a fast rate. And good to see them here and get exposed to playing against these big programs on a big stage.
Yeah, there was a time when you would have thought, you know, Farmington probably can't compete with Cretin, Durham Hall, and Minnetonka, teams like that. But obviously that area has grown a huge amount, and you could say the same up in our corner of town with you know, programs like St. Michael, Albertville, or Rogers, or
Andover. Yeah.
Hard hit ball at second. Sandell up with it. They will get the out. Runner moves over to third. So 2 gone. Runner at third now for Tonka, and Miles Humphreys will be the batter.
Great hands and awareness there by the second baseman. Stayed down on the ball, welcomed that ball, and he had to follow that ball as it was going through the umpire, going over to first base, and stayed tracking that ball and came up with a cleanly and on a very hard hit ball.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was maybe not quite as easy a play as it seemed like. You know, he had to be moving his feet, and as you said, the umpire potentially could have blocked his view a little bit. That one is a strike. Humphreys hit that triple over the center fielder George's head. He kind of had some adventures heading back trying to get it, but scored a triple. High and in with that one.
Had him fooled, but almost came across the plate. That's a balk.
Balk, yeah. The go-ahead run is going to score on a balk. Wow. So Tonka had some issues with that early, and now Vendel.
Interesting play. Back in, 4 or 5 years ago, that was not a balk. You could do that play if your third baseman wasn't holding the ball, I believe, or holding the bag, I believe. But nowadays in the Major League Baseball, it has to be an actual attempted pickoff, and that definitely was not an attempted pickoff because your third baseman was probably 10 feet away from the bag.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was with the step. It was just, like you said, he was not anywhere near like a legitimate pickoff attempt. Rip and a miss. And like we said, there's been a fair amount of offense. You kind of hope that the winning run wouldn't come in on a balk, but I feel confident we'll probably have some more runs as the game goes.
Yeah, there's been a lot of activity, but more balks than I would expect to see at this level.
Yeah, and not to nitpick on that one, but you feel like, is that really necessary anyway? I mean, is it really going to help you that much? The chances of you actually picking him off there are pretty slim. That's outside and high for a ball. Humphreys walks, and Champlin Park's going to, oh, I'm sorry, they call that one a third strike. Apologies, as the Skippers do take the lead, though, on that balk as they get a couple of runs in the inning. 4-3 Minnetonka after 3 innings. Four-3 Minnetonka as they put a couple on the board in the second, couple more in the third to take their first lead. The lead run scoring on a balk.
Yeah, on a balk you don't really see all that often. You're trying to pick out the runner at third base, and the third base runner wasn't getting off that far, and the third baseman wasn't holding him, so they called the balk.
See, really only one real close game in that first round. Somewhat surprisingly, perhaps, it was the 1-8 game. Cretin-Durham Hall winning 7-5. So we do have the 1-4 on the other part of the bracket. In this one, we had Champlin Park as the 7th seed knocking off Andover in the quarterfinals. Paul DeLong, the batter here, leading off the 4th. Mushard still out on the hill for Minnetonka. That one is inside, so it's 1-1. DeLong knocks that one into right field for a hit. Well, we talked about how the bottom parts of the order are capable, and that happens right there as DeLong leads off the 4th with a single.
Yeah, nice to get the bottom part of the order on base to set up the top part, get more base hits, and see if you can get back to on top of this game here in the 4th inning.
A couple of the hits Musher gave up last inning, too. He's kind of getting too much of the plate. A lot of those the hits they've been getting are on pitches that are seemingly right over the middle and belt high. That one a strike to Sandell. He's had a single and a walk, so he's been efficient so far. Rebels not showing bunt in that first one. We'll see if that still could be in effect, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I think if it's tied or already 4-4 and you're trying to get that go-ahead run, maybe you do see a bunt, but not in this situation with the leadoff runner on.
Right, and especially too with, like we said, as much offense as there's been, I don't feel like one run seems as crucial.
Yeah, Champlin Park has definitely had plenty of runners on base today, and they just haven't been able to get the key hits at the key parts of the game. Minnetonka's gotten out of a lot of jams, and thus they're up here 4-3.
3-1 count to Sandell, who's also swinging a pretty good bat. Another reason to give him a chance to hit here, and he will draw a walk for the 2nd straight time. Runners at 1st and 2nd now for the Rebels. Boy, if Minnetonka, doesn't win this game, probably first and foremost, the reason in their mind will be we just walk too many people.
Walks and hit batters, yeah, just little things, and you got to throw strikes. You can't give up free passes. It's the same thing as committing errors. You just got to make clean plays and make them put the ball in play and get the outs.
Nick Carlson is going to come up. Now they're talking things over with the umpire. I wonder if we might be going to have another pitching change here. He stopped to tell the umpire what was coming before going out to the mound.
Yeah, I think Musher threw a little bit yesterday, but not too many pitches, so I don't think that would come into play.
It's Ryan Tome, the Rebels head coach.
Not necessarily the 50-year career, but having a good run here with Champlin Park, building up the program.
Yeah, it looks like we are indeed going to have a pitching change here for Minnetonka, and the Rebels gathering around their coach as well here. So Champlin Park now trailing at 4-3, but they get the first 2 runners aboard to begin the top of the 4th. Well, I might have spoken too soon. I don't know that we are necessarily having a pitching change here. Or are we? Yes, we are. Mushard is going to move back to play an infield spot, it looks like. So going to have Garrett Wheeler coming on to start his warm-ups here for Minnetonka. We will take a timeout here. Champlin Park now down a run, but looking to battle back and tie it up or go ahead here. We'll take a timeout here in the 4th and come back with more baseball from CCX.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
And welcome back here. The third pitcher of the game for Minnetonka is Garrett Wheeler. He's got a 1-1 record in 9 innings this year, 2.33 ERA. Walked 6, fanned 11. So he will pitch to Nick Carlson with runners at first and second. Nobody out here in the top of the fourth. It's been a pretty heavy day on the bases for these teams so far.
Yeah, third at bat for third time through the order for Champlin Park, and you're only in the top of the fourth is a good sign that you're getting base runners on, but now you got to start putting them across the plate when you get later in the game.
That one in the dirt. Heitkamp with a block.
Nice backhand glove there to bat that ball down and keep it in front of you. Too far enough out, too far away to try and scoot your legs out and block it with your chest protector. So throw that hand out there and try and track it and knock it down. Interesting.
Minnetonka's got people running all over the place, and Carlson puts it exactly where the spot they vacated. They're going to hold DeLong at third, and the bases will be loaded up for Champlin Park. Minnetonka,
I have never seen that in all the baseball I have watched and covered. I have never seen the second baseman run over to cover third base. Watch the second baseman bust over to third base. This is a new version of the wheel. I've never seen that.
And Carlson promptly just hits it right where nobody is.
And the shortstop's going to cover first. I've never seen that. Interesting. Not sure what the strategy is there, but fun to watch.
So Oleg Mueller will hit. Bases loaded, nobody out. And your number 3 hitter stepping in. Oleg Mueller grounded out to drive in a run in the first, fly to center in the second. Takes a strike here.
Yeah, interesting coaching, but it's fun to see teams execute those little things like that. Like, even though it ended up not working out for them at all, and it was kind of counterproductive because if the shortstop stays out, he probably catches that and might turn 2.
Foul this one away.
But to implement that into the playbook and let the kids know this is what we're doing and watch every kid execute exactly what they were supposed to, it's fun to see. And that's just the little things that come with a coach who's been doing this for 50 years.
Be interesting to know if Carlson, really could see any of that or was trying to put the ball basically in that spot. He certainly hit it well regardless, but maybe he'd tell you yes, and maybe was it.
That is interesting because you mentioned that earlier when they had the shortstop and second baseman staying back and they charged in during the pitch. That is a bit of a distraction play, and that could be part of what they're trying to do, which is within the rules.
Oh, 2 here again to Oleg Mueller. That one missing inside. Some runs, but some missed opportunities early in this one for Champlin Park. They would love to change that here in the fourth. That one in the dirt.
And as Farmington starts to come in, and I'm sure Cretan's down here on the first base side, there's kind of differing approaches. Let's hurry up and get this game done so we can get our game on the field before the rain moves in. But it's also one of those mentalities like burn your pitchers. Keep going through that pitch lineup of pitchers because that means there's less pitchers for them in the next round.
Oleg Mueller lifting it up right on the edge of the grass.
There it is.
Yes, infield fly eventually called there. They will get the out for out number 1. And Reese George will be the hitter. And I think we did feel a drop or 2 of rain as well. Not anything to worry about just yet, but obviously that's in the forecast for some parts of the day.
Good base running there by Champlin Park. It was very close to not being called an infield fly, but on that play, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to look at the middle umpire, because he's watching where the position player is to make sure that they're not going to have a chance to drop the ball and turn a double play. He did point to the sky and yelled infield fly.
George knocking it to short. There's one. Relay to first. Another double play for Tonka. And again, a missed opportunity for the Rebels. Oh, as they loaded the base with nobody out and don't score. No runs, 2 hits. And 2 left aboard, and we go to the bottom of the 4th, still 4-3 Minnetonka.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
We head to the bottom of the 4th here at CHS Field. Minnetonka escaping trouble again as they get a double play to get out of that top of the 4th with their lead intact at 4-3. So look, fair to say there's some probable rain coming here, and just be a matter of how much we can get in of this game, and probably more iffy for that second semifinal. But right now, holding steady here. If this game keeps moving along, we probably will be okay. New pitcher for Champlin Park, by the way, as Joshua Henschen, the junior, will come in after a decent but kind of up and down 3-inning start for Vendel. Bottom third of the order stepping in here for Minnetonka. It has not been a pitching-dominated day by any stretch. Both teams a lot of base runners. A little more so walks for Champlin Park, although they've definitely hit some balls well too, and Minnetonka has hit the ball hard.
Yeah, Champlin Park has been very efficient in getting on base, just not efficient in getting those key hits when they need to. And they probably left, 8-9 runners on base through 4 innings.
Yeah, and that last one especially hurt. They load the bases with nobody out, and their 3-4 hitters coming up, and they go pop up, double play.
Oof.
Little soft liner. Sandell going back just off the tip of his glove. It'll be a hit for Freiberg.
Picked that ball up right off the bat. Wasn't able to rotate his shoulders and get a more aggressive back pedal. Or turn to pick up that ball. He's kind of continued to backpedal. You kind of want to rotate a little bit more to get a little more, to allow yourself to get a little more speed, but ball just wasn't hit high enough for him to get far enough under the ball.
Knutson will be the batter here for Minnetonka. He struck out his first time up. Squaring and takes a strike. This time is Bunning to Oligmuller. He'll flip to Henschen, the pitcher. Ooh, he just barely beat him. They do get the sacrifice there as he put that ball in a good spot where it made Champlin Park execute. And Henschen seemed like he maybe went a little slower than ideal here on making the play to step on the bag, but he does just get him.
Yeah, great bunt over the first base. You did your job. You almost got a base hit out of it, so good hustle out of the box, but Champlin Park executes to complete the sacrifice there.
Yeah, the key too is putting it far enough away that the first baseman can't make that play himself.
Yeah, he's got to come in and run and get the ball, and he's not going to be able to tag the runner because they're running opposite directions. So nice job of the pitcher to run up the line and get that out.
Heitkamp is the hitter now. He drew a walk his first time up. Up the middle, that'll be a hit. They're going to hold that runner as George gets to it in a hurry and hits the cutoff.
Good solid hit up the middle. Nice job by the first baseman to cut that ball off. It was kind of tailing off away from the catcher. There was nobody over towards the dugout to catch that ball if it gets over his head. Good piece of hitting right up the middle. Nobody's there. If you hit it hard enough, the pitcher's not going to have time to react. Second baseman and shortstop not going to be able to get that ball and make Minnetonka a little more conservative there on the base paths, knowing they only have one out. They're feeling confident they'll be able to get this run across the plate.
Yeah, and I think it also comes into play that they got the top of the order coming up here too. You're feeling a little confident that you can get somebody. Yeah, I was kind of half surprised that they held him at third there. I thought he might try to score, but
yeah, usually you see teams being aggressive and forcing the issue, and I think he would have scored because that throw was up the third base line, and the catcher probably wasn't going to have a play. But here they are, first and third. You're probably going to see the runner in motion and do something here to get this run across the plate.
Marceau is the hitter. He is 0 for 2. The old fake to third and throw to first. Olegmuller had to leap to get that one.
You see if he committed to going home here. I love that play. You don't see it as much, but they're going to ask if he's going to check with the first base ump to see if he broke the plane on. This is such a tough call, but fortunately you have 3 umpires. When you only have 1 or 2, it's almost impossible to call in to officiate that play because you can't see where the pitcher's knee and momentum is.
They say no balk there. As more activity out in the bullpen. Damon Torkey loosening up. I was going to say we've already seen 3 balks, so it'd be a new record maybe if missed with that one. Marceau fouling that one away. Minnetonka trying to add to what's now a 4-3 lead with runners at the corners and 1 out. Popped up. Olegmuller, the first baseman, nearly colliding with the runner there. Will get the out.
Good concentration, good focus there by the first baseman. Followed that ball off the bat, kind of tracked it in midway down the first baseman line and realized that he's in the first base path line, and stuck with the ball and understood that the runner had to go around him because he has the right to get the ball.
Garrett Wheeler, the batter now for Minnetonka. So they are now trying to not be the team caught stranding runners here, as Champlin Park has had some golden opportunities to have a lot more than 3 runs.
Yeah, Minnetonka's got to be happy, extremely happy they're up. But I mean, knowing how many big plays they've been making in the defensive side of the ball, put them in a position here to really break this one open here.
Wheeler, an awkward swing at that one. Yeah, and going back to the top of this inning too, you have not only do you have that great opportunity, but you also had probably one of your fastest runners in George, but he hit the ball hard at the shortstop. It was even actually a pretty easy turn, even against a good runner. Another rip and a miss there by Wheeler. Henschen trying to keep the score where it is. His team has 3 more at bats, and again, they have not at all lacked for base runners in this game. Driven to left field and DeLong racing over, and a sliding catch as he holds onto it. A nice grab down the line, and the Skippers threaten but don't score in the 4th. No runs, a couple of base hits, and a couple left on. We've finished 4 innings here in the 4A semifinals. Minnetonka 4 and Champlin Park 3.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Minnetonka leading Champlin Park 4-3 as we head to the top half of inning number 5, and a great opportunity for these players, but also for us, Drew. It gives a chance to broadcast from a nice stadium like this, a press box and everything, and it's a fun reward for us at the end of the year too.
Yeah, a lot of the fields around the Metro have really upped their game. Champlin Park, of course, I mentioned earlier in the season, their field is phenomenal. The turf is great, but being able to come down here to CHS is such a fun experience. It's built downtown. Not a bunch of huge space. You know, you park on the street, park in a lot, you walk to the field. Good sight lines. You can see the traffic. You see the air traffic. You see the industrial world coming to life here in the highways. It's a really fun experience, and this field is just phenomenal.
And, of course, the winner will be playing at Target Field over in the other Twin City, Minneapolis, in that championship round. Luke Carlson, the hitter. 1-1 count.
Sheesh. Time is called.
Not sure what, a ball came back onto the field or something. There were umpires and coaches trying to get their attention, and I didn't notice it right away either, and I don't think either the pitcher or the hitter did.
Yeah, I think the first base and third base umpires were the only ones that knew. The home plate umpire did not realize, but they definitely had called time because the ball was behind the batter's box, or the warm-up circle for Champlin Park.
Yeah, so that last pitch does not count.
Correct.
1-1. Carlson a strikeout his first time up, and then last time singled and scored in the third. Luke Carlson this is. Pounding it foul. Ryan Tome thought better of trying to snare that one barehanded.
Yeah, no need to prove your skill set anymore. Don't damage that hand this late in the season.
Driven out to right center field and hangs up enough to be playable there. Nice grab by Stortz. As that one tailing away from him a little bit. And he also had to, I think, the corner of his eye noticing his right fielder come in there a little bit too, but they must have communicated enough that he's able to make that grab.
Yeah, good communication. It's tailing away from the center fielder. He had a good jump. The ball just hung up in the air, and I'm sure he's saying, I got it, and the other guy's saying, yours, yours, yours. So when you say yours, you go behind, and you say you got it, you go for the ball, of course.
Caleb Greer, the batter. He has been on twice, a walk and a single. That one will get out of play down the right field line. Greer was kind of the unfortunate victim of when he was on third base, a pitch that was way out of the strike zone, but it bounced off that backstop directly back to the catcher and left him a relatively easy out at third, even though he thought maybe it got under the tag. But as you and I talked between innings, when the ball's there that much ahead of you, you're very rarely going to be called safe on a play like that.
Yeah, and that's adapting to the field that you're playing on too, because a lot of the times these guys play during the regular season, they'll play at a fence with a fence it's a chain link fence. That ball's not going to bounce. This is that netting. It improves the sight lines for the fans, but unfortunately for Champlin Park, that ball one hopped back to the catcher, and he was easily out by 4 or 5 steps.
And there's a called third strike. Nice pitch there from Wheeler for out number 2, and Christian Dull will be the batter. Minnetonka looking to have the first 1, 2, 3 inning they've had. They haven't really even been close in any of the other innings.
Yeah, they're pretty excited here to get their first 2 batters out, and it's fun to see them with the action running around. And that's what you see from a well-coached team is this energy on those kind of things. You know, you build that momentum, little things, and you in a positive way, you compound the energy.
And the other part too, I think, is the teams that are able to kind of just flip the page when there are some innings that are not especially well done on your behalf, and that same could be said for both teams here. There's some things that they've done well, some things that they wish they could do different.
Yeah, but that's where you're at in the game. You got to put that stuff behind you. You had a couple awkward balks. You had a few hit batters. For Champlin Park, you had that ball that went over your center fielder's head, but you got to put that behind you. You got to focus on the next 2.5, 3 innings and get that win.
There's a strike. That one's inside. The other part of it, I think, for Wheeler too here is you really would like to get this hitter so then that the 6th inning starts, with the 8, 9 hitters. It just sharpens your ability to maybe get through these last couple innings. Ooh, Tonka thought they had a called 3rd strike there, and I would have to concur with them based on our look from up here.
Nice job by the catcher to kind of suck it in. It's on the outside part of the plate. Could have gone either way. Called a ball.
Fought that one off. And that one is low and away for ball 4, so unable to get that first 1, 2, 3 inning as Dull draws a walk. Oakley will be the hitter for the Rebels. Ryan Thome hoping to see his team get something going with 2 outs. Clutch hitting has not been their strength today. Getting people on base has not been a problem at all, but bringing them home when they're in scoring position has been the issue. And you give Tonka some credit there too. A couple of nice double plays they turned to get out of things too.
Yeah, double plays are a pitcher's best friend, and having Minnetonka being able to turn a couple of those has really built the momentum for them in the field. And that goes back to earlier in the game. You can't give up walks, can't hit batters. You got to let the opponent put the ball in play and trust your defense.
That one is outside, and Oakley was one of those hitters who did hit into a double play that ended the 3rd. Lifting this one to center field, and it'll hang up, and Stort's able to make the catch, and the Rebels get 1 batter over the minimum in the 5th. No runs, no hits, and 1 left aboard. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Minnetonka leading Champlin Park 4-3.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
We go to the bottom half of inning number 5 here at CHS Field. Minnetonka leading Champlin Park 4-3. The 3, 4, 5 hitters will come up for the Skippers against Champlin Park's second pitcher of the day, Joshua Henchen.
Yeah, for a 4-3 game, I don't definitely not a shortage of scoring opportunities for both of these teams. So a really close game, a lot of at-bats for everybody. See what happens in the final 2 innings here.
Mushard will lead off the 5th for Tonka. He's, arguably as good a hitter as they have in their lineup, but 0 for 2 so far today. So he would like to get things going. That one, a one hopper from Henchen. Yeah, that's the thing about baseball is you don't necessarily say, well, there were a lot of runners early, so therefore it's going to stay that way the whole game. I mean, sometimes things settle down and pitchers get outs and just kind of settle the defenses down to the point where you don't see a scoring late.
Yeah, you said it earlier in one of the section games that we did that may have been our meeting before the game, but Champlin Park was getting big hits at key parts of the game during the section playoffs, and just not the case today. They're not able to put the ball in play. I mean, they're putting it in play, just unfortunately right at the Minnetonka players, and that's the difference in the game. Minnetonka's strung a couple of hits together to get their 4 runs cross plate, but Champlin Park has had plenty of opportunities to score and just haven't really broken this game open. Here they are down 1 run in the bottom of the 5th.
Neither program has ever won a state championship. They've both been in the finals before. Minnetonka runner-up a couple of times, and Champlin Park was a runner-up in 2016 when they faced Wayzata in the final. But ooh, hard hit ball. Sandell up with it and will throw him out. I think that one glanced off the mound a little bit there and ended up being a easy opportunity for the second baseman, and now Gus Berger will hit for Tonka.
Yeah, it looked like it was hit really hard up the middle, but a nice easy hop for the second baseman to get that out. Surprising to know that Minnetonka has not won a state championship because they've had a really strong program, but in the 50 years that coach has been there, he hasn't been able to win one. But entirely for the program's entirety is pretty surprising.
Yeah, if you'd quizzed me on that, I agree. I would have probably said somewhere along the way they did, but it runner-up in 79 and then 2018.
They're focused on hockey already over there during this time of year, I bet.
That one is fouled away. That's the thing, though. The schools, the really top-level ones, the Wayzatas, the Minnetonkas, Eden Prairie, they don't necessarily become a hockey town or basketball town. They can seem to be able to put good teams on the field in all of those. That's a fair ball right over the bag. And Berger takes a big turn. They'll throw behind him. Oh, and Henchen couldn't catch that one. Looked like they might have an opportunity to get him there as he made that big turn.
Yeah, good heads-up play there by the pitcher to follow in because the first baseman's over trying to get that ball. He's in foul territory, so the pitcher goes in and covers. A nice job to back up here by the catcher as well. So the first baseman tries to make the play. The right fielder gets it, fires it in to the pitcher who's coming in behind the runner, and they have a chance to get him. Scoots by the pitcher, and unfortunately the catcher's there to back it up.
Storts will be the hitter here for Minnetonka. And yeah, I don't know. From up here, to me, it felt like if Henchen catches this ball, there's a decent chance they get the tag on him. But Storts is 0 for 2. That one up high for a ball. Flip to first.
Kind of an awkward slide. Didn't really get back, and he kind of popped up without his hand on the bag.
Ooh, that was closer than, because he didn't get cleanly back in with that lead hand. It almost was almost an out there. Didn't mention till now, Champlin Park and visited them before they were heading to state, and they, not 100%, but they dyed the hair blonde for the old state tournament visit. There's a strike. We haven't seen a lot of straight steals with just one runner on, and we've seen some wild pitches. We've seen a couple steals in other situations where there was a runner at third, but
yeah, he's getting an aggressive fake secondary lead, and he does it again. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw it down there behind him.
Storts had to wheel out of the way of that one. So 3-1 count.
Starting to get a little darker. I wouldn't be surprised if they turn the lights on soon.
That one is over the outside corner.
Nice breaking ball on the outside corner. Went down in the zone, but didn't break too far off the plate and got the call.
Runner is going. It'll be ball 4 as Storts draws a walk here. So first and second and 1 out now for the Skippers. And Humphreys will be the hitter. That one just missing. Oakley asked for time. I wonder if maybe he got crossed up a little bit there because he popped up right away and was like,
yeah, with a runner on second, you definitely want to make sure you're on the same page with your pitcher, because when there's not a runner on second, pretty straightforward, 1-2, 1-2, 3. When you got a runner on second, and usually most teams will do this throughout the game, if you give them multiple signs, you know exactly which sign is the actual sign, whether it's an indicator or it's the third sign. So you make sure that the runner at second doesn't try and tip the hitter in any way.
fastball was up, and it's 2-0. And I think he went around on this one. He did. Two and one pitch is way up high and off the tip of Oakley's glove, and both runners will move up. So now the infield will come in here for Champlin Park, as has been the case throughout the day.
Big opportunity here for Minnetonka.
Cut and a miss. Yeah, in a lot of ways, this game has kind of boiled down to these situations. Who's come through more in the clutch?
Yeah, and only 7 runs so far. There have been a lot of big opportunities.
That one was outside, and Humphreys will draw a walk to load him up.
Well, now it's Champlin Park's turn to show that they can make the defensive plays. See what they do at the middle infield. So we're going to have a mound visit.
Coach Tome coming out here. And I think we are going to see a pitching change. It looks like Oleg Mueller is going to come in as the pitcher, perhaps. He's taken the wrap off his wrist, which would lead me to believe that he's going to be the pitcher, not the guy out in the pen. So we will take a timeout here. Champlin Park trying to keep the score where it's at. They are down 4-3, but Minnetonka has the bases loaded here in the 5th.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is available on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, including full sporting events and daily newscasts. To find us, go to the store, search CCX, and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. The CCX Media app, available on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku.
So Henshin is lifted here with 1 out in the 5th after pitching an inning and a third for the Rebels. He, of course, is responsible for all 3 of the base runners aboard, as Oleg Mueller will come in to pitch for the Rebels. He closed out that section championship game. Got the last couple outs. Tristan Wexeth now playing at first base in place of Oleg Mueller. Freiberg, the batter, he is 2 for 2 so far here. And as we said a moment ago, a lot of the game has come down to these situations. Tonka, great opportunity to extend the lead. Champlin Park would love to get out of things here. And they do play the middle infield more back, so they could be looking to turn 2 with the bases full here. And taken for a ball.
Yeah, tough spot to come in for a relief pitcher. Bases loaded, already trailing by 1 run. With a powerful Minnetonka lineup here.
There's a strike.
Yeah, it is interesting. The middle infielders are playing in the baseline, which usually you like them playing back because then you can get their momentum going towards the bag and towards first base, but they're pinching the middle and playing in the baseline.
Yeah, and it's a little bit harder and less common, but the home to first double play could be an option if the ball is hit hard at someone. Oof, breaking ball there and a swing and a miss.
Nice saucer for breaking ball there. That was a sweeping breaking ball.
Boy, that's a big pitch for Oleg. If he falls down 3-1 there with the bases loaded, that'd be hard to come back from. And a swing and a miss, and you'll get the strikeout for out number 2. And Cole Knutson will be the batter for Minnetonka.
See if Oleg Mueller does the same thing here. He was lining way up on the outside part of the rubber, bringing that sweeping breaking ball from far off the mound to the inside corner, and a hitter makes it very tough.
Pops off of Oakley's glove, but stayed right there at the plate. I'm sure he was just trying to draw a throw, but it looked like for a moment the runner from third, Berger, thought that ball was farther away and started to come. Outside with that one. Again, nowhere to put him here. Bases loaded, but 2 outs. 2-0 count. And that one is high and away, 3-0.
Took a little bit off that one, tried to place it, wasn't able to get the out, so now he's down 3-0, and I would assume you're going to see a take here. But you also don't want to offer up a cookie and let him really crush one.
And we'll never know because that one was way out of the zone. A bases loaded walk to force in a run. And now 5-3 Minnetonka. As you said, tough spot for Oleg Mueller to come in. He did get the first batter on strikes, but then walks the next one to force in that run. And Heitkamp will be the batter here for the Skippers.
Big, strong hitter can't leave an easy one over the plate to this guy. Looks like he can put the ball in play and hit it hard if he gets the bat on it.
And he drives it up the middle. That will be down for a hit, and it gets past George. Might score 3 runs here. Brings in 2 runs, I should say, as Heitkamp will wind up on second with a double.
Huge play. Huge play. Good effort here by the center fielder. I think he'd go after that ball if you get the out. Huge momentum builder for them, but just comes up about a foot or 2 short. And with a ball like that hit that hard, it's going to go almost to the fence. Easily bringing those runners over on base.
So now an 8-3 lead for Minnetonka. We talked about how many guys have come up and not been able to deliver in that spot. And a bouncer from Marceau to third, but the damage is done as Minnetonka coming up with a 4-run 5th inning, and they stretch it out now. 8-3 Skippers through 5.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is available on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, including full sporting events and daily newscasts. To find us, go to the store, search CCX, and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. The CCX Media app, available on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku.
Well, the complexion of this one changing a little bit there as Minnetonka's lead grew from 4-3 to 8-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning, with Heitkamp's bases clearing double really stretching it out. Rebels have a couple of more opportunities. They're not out yet. They'll have the 9, 1, and 2 spots coming up in the top of the 6th. And still on the hill is Garrett Wheeler for Minnetonka, their 3rd pitcher of the game.
Yeah, Minnetonka's got to be very happy with where they're sitting in this game. Champlin Park had a couple of really good opportunities early in the game, starting off in that 1st inning. They got that 1st run. 2nd inning, same situation, had several runners on base, just weren't able to get key hits at the key times. And just like we saw with Minnetonka that last inning, bases loaded, 2 outs, line drive to center field, scoots by the center fielder and brings in a few runs.
DeLong did single last time up, so he is 1 for 2. Takes a strike. That's the thing you always talk about, though, is that the clock doesn't run out on you in baseball as long as you got outs. I mean, there's nothing saying you can't string a few together here. And that's a fair ball. Not a bad start, as DeLong will get 2 out of this, digging for second, and he is in with a double to begin the 6th.
Double thumbs up after that great slide to second base, hustling out of the box and running so fast he lost his sliding mitt on that ball that he rips down the right field line.
Boy, he knew right off the get-go that this one had a chance to be 2. And took guys by the first baseman, and he was looking to get to. It was well done defensively, but just not time to get him.
Yeah, hard hit ball, trailing all the way over to the fence, and good hustle out of the box allowed him to easily get into second base to that leadoff double.
Brockton Sandell, the hitter here. Fouls this one back.
And unlike earlier in the game, you don't expect a bunt here. Champlin Park's not playing for the 1 run. Minnetonka's fine with that runner moving over to third base. Even on a ground ball to shortstop, they're probably going over first base no matter what.
High 1-1. Sandell has been on all 3 times Single and a pair of walks. Inside there.
If you're Champlin Park, you're doing anything you can to get on base. So you don't want to lean away from that ball. You want to spin into that ball and get on base.
I was just thinking he probably heard somebody in the dugout saying you got to wear that.
And he knew immediately once he bailed out. He's like, I should have stayed in there. That's your batter's box.
That one just missing. Your eyes and your brain, though, tell you otherwise when a baseball's coming at you.
Easier said than done. Easier said than done. It's like we tell our youth hitters, don't duck, don't duck. We're like, well, it's coming at my head. It's like, understand. I probably did the same thing when I was a kid.
That one is on the outside corner. Lifted to right field. DeLong bluffing a tag there. He will hang on. No reason to gamble in that spot. And Sendell is out for the first out of the 6th. Nick Carlson will be the hitter.
Yeah, definitely not deep enough for that runner to tag from second to third, and a good strong throw would have had him. That's exactly what Minnetonka did to keep him there. And it's interesting to notice Minnetonka not very concerned with its runner. Of course, you're up 5, in the 6th inning, so they're not even trying to hold the runner on second base, so he should be aware that he can get a little extra lead and try and score with 1 out on a hit to the outfield.
Haven't really seen outfielders seem to have trouble. I would think the sky today might be a little bit sketchy. You mentioned the smoke earlier and clouds, and certainly losing a ball in the sun is probably worse, but I would think it might be hard to pick the ball up occasionally. We haven't really seen that.
Yeah, the sun and a blue sky is a nice backdrop for a white ball, but when you have a cloudy sky with smoke up there, it is easy to lose that ball. And haven't seen too many outfielders show that they're not tracking the ball well.
Carlson a swing and a miss. He's had a solid day, a walk and a couple of singles. Hits this one hard, and that'll be through for a hit. Not sure, couldn't get the glove down. They're going to send the runner to the plate. Here comes the throw. And DeLong is in, and now there was a little collision. We're going to have interference call against Minnetonka, and Carlson will be awarded third.
Very surprised they threw that ball all the way home. That ball was hit down the line, hit hard. A good throw gets him if it's perfectly executed, but that allows the runner from first to easily go to second. He's rounding the bag going to third. And what happens there, he runs into either the second baseman or the shortstop. Whatever happened, it was clearly fielder's interference to got in front of the runner rounding second base.
Well, I was a little surprised DeLong went home, because a perfect throw on it would have been a very close play. But then I was, like you said, surprised with Minnetonka too. But
yeah, you want to keep that runner at first because that keeps the force out in play. But now you have the runner rounding the bag at second, and he runs into the middle infielder because the ball goes home, and that's the right. I mean, as you're a runner, you create that contact, force the issue, because you should be able to round the base and go to third. And the third base ump definitely called it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second base umpire, middle umpire, was looking at the play at the plate.
And me too. I was watching home, but I realized from the reaction that the chances were pretty good. It did kind of seem like Carlson maybe ran into him on purpose, but at the same time, like you said, it's the responsibility of the fielder to not be in the way in that situation. So 8-4. Kellen Oligmuller is the batter. They scored that one as a double and then reaches third on interference. Cut and a miss. Oligmuller's kind of due today. He's 0 for 3. Did drive in a run the first time up, but
definitely want to get that run in from third across the plate for Champlin Park. And anything hit, not directly at the pitcher or third baseman. I think they're going to go over first base. Even at the third baseman, it looks like they're going over.
Oh, the throw back is high. Good backup, though. Carlson did see it, but Marceau got there quick enough to make sure that that wasn't going to score a run.
Got to stay locked in. Got to keep that intensity and that aggressiveness out there if you're Champlin Park. Don't just sit there and wait for things to happen. Make them happen. He's happy to be over third base because of that interference, but you got to get a big lead. That third baseman's not holding you, so you got to get a big secondary lead. Next time that happens, he's got to score.
Inside with that one. Yeah, if you're the Rebels here, I mean, you'd like to just get as many as you can, but I think you would like to at least pull within a couple.
Yeah.
Heading to the 7th.
Yeah, Minnetonka's trading a run for an out here. They're okay going into the final inning up 8-5.
And that is a fair ball. Oligmuller is out, but the run does score as Carlson will trot home to make it an 8-5 game. And Reese George will now hit with the bases empty and 2 outs.
Good solid contact, just a chopper, easy play for the first baseman to field it and didn't try and rush and force the play at home because he knew he just needed to get that out at first, and now the bases are empty for this pitcher.
George takes that one up and in for ball 1. He had a walk and then grounded to third, and then a kind of a key at bat in the 4th, which went Minnetonka's way as it turned into a 6-4-3 double play to get them out of the inning. Driving this one out to center field, but it's or right center actually, going to be the right fielder drifting over to make that catch, and George is out. Rebels get a couple as they bring the lead a little bit smaller as they make it 8-5, heading to the bottom of the 6th here at CHS Field.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Been an adventurous game here today, and Minnetonka now leading Champlin Park 8-5 in this State Class 4A semifinal here at CHS Field on CCX Sports. Minnetonka will have the 2, 3, 4 spots coming up in the bottom half of the 6th against Kellen Oligmuller, the 3rd pitcher of the game for the Rebels.
Is that how you used to wear your hair? That's some fancy hair. I like it. Yeah, stressful time here for Champlin Park. They're running out of outs. You don't run out of time, but you're running out of outs. And you got to get out of this inning without giving up any more runs and try and make something special happen in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, they got 2, which certainly helps, but they still facing that deficit of 3. And Minnetonka, like you said, would love to add another 1 or 2. You don't, this whole day or whole game has felt like you don't really feel like a lead is safe, though. We've just had a lot of offense. Yeah,
a lot of base runners, some well-hit balls, but also little things, taking walks when you need to, getting hit, a few balks. But, Minnetonka with that big hit with the 2 outs and bases loaded last inning really put them in a position here that they're trying to finish this game off. But they're not satisfied up 3 here in the 6th. I think they're going to try and put a couple more on. But if you're Champlin Park, just keep throwing strikes, rely on your defense. Get in there, stay happy, stay positive, and try and tie this one up in the 7th.
Jaden Oligmuller is now the catcher for the Rebels, by the way. Wheeler, 0 for 3 today, did reach on an error on the pitcher and came in to score. Takes that one for a ball. Back up the middle, and that one will be through for a base hit as he skips it off the back of the mound, and Wheeler aboard. Mushard will be the batter now for Minnetonka.
Good solid piece of hitting. Don't have to hit it as hard as possible. Don't have to hit it up in the air. Just hit it right up the middle and you'll get on base most of the time, as long as the pitcher can't make an amazing play and field that ground ball. Growing up, everybody wants to hit home runs, hit the ball as far as possible, but not everybody has that size to put the ball at the park, and sometimes it's better to just keep the ball down low and find those gaps. And if you can consistently hit the ball up the middle hard, you're going to have a pretty good on-base percentage.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of high school players hitting them out here at CHS either. Mushard, after a talking to, we'll see if that means he's bunting or no, I guess not. Knocks it to first. They're going to go to second. They get the lead, and relay not quite in time. Pretty well done there by Wexeth, just coming into the game.
Oh, interference.
Oh, you're right. It's going to be a double play.
Interesting call. I thought that was a good hard slide into second base, which is what a runner's supposed to do, but he apparently popped up to interfere with the throw from the shortstop. Good execution there by Champlin Park.
He didn't slide. Yeah.
You either got to peel off or you got to slide. That's the right call. I wonder if he probably didn't assume the ball was coming.
Huh, interesting one.
Yeah, and sometimes what you try to do there, if you're the runner, is you read the defensive position to try and take that ball in the back.
Gus Berger lifting one to short center field. He will make the catch. So an interesting double play helps Champlin Park get out of the sixth. They have one more at bat to go. Minnetonka 8, Champlin Park 5 as we head to the seventh here on CCX.
In 1935, Topline Financial Credit Union was founded by workers from our local phone company, by people who dedicated their lives to keeping our community connected. At Topline Financial, that dedication lives on because we believe that dreams are achieved when we connect with each other. So if you're dreaming of buying a new home or car, or planning for your future, or saving for that next vacation, connect with us. We'll help you get there, because connected, we all do better.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Kind of a nail biter here. It's been back and forth. We've seen a little bit of everything in this game. Some box, a lot of walks early, some good clutch hitting. Now Champlin Park, one more opportunity here. They are down 8-5 as we go to the seventh. Luke Carlson will lead it off. The 5, 6, and 7 spots, and Garrett Wheeler still on the hill for Minnetonka. Missing outside. Luke Carlson 1 for 3 today.
Yeah, definitely one of the more entertaining games. A couple interference calls, weird box too, not just your standard.
Whoa, and that one almost hit him.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see if Champlin Park puts together a little rally to add a little more excitement to this one.
That one nearly hit him as well. Yeah, we have not had really only one true 1-2-3 inning in the game. That was the bottom of the first. That last inning, it turned out he only faced 3 batters, but that was after someone had reached, and there was the double play on interference, and Luke Carlson draws a walk to begin the seventh. I like that. It's good being a team guy and good discipline there, because you come up in this spot, you're thinking, I want to get a hit, but getting on base to start the inning is huge.
Yeah, a lot of teams will, if they're down late in the game, they'll force their hitters to take a strike to make sure that pitcher's throwing strikes. If you can put the pressure on them and make them feel a little cautious of, you don't want to throw an easy strike, but if you can't consistently throw strikes, it's going to allow you to get on base.
Have a pinch runner here for Champlin Park, as Alex Fino is going to come in to run for Carlson. Every little thing matters now. If you got a guy who's maybe a little faster, or the hitter's maybe a little bit nicked up or something, don't hesitate in this spot to use whatever you can. Greer will be the batter. I thought for a moment they were going to bat for him, which I thought would have been surprising, but as it turns out, they are not. They're running for Carlson instead. And that one skips in there. Heitkamp blocking it. Wheeler, like just about every pitcher who's thrown today, has been kind of good at times and had some struggles at times too.
Yeah, his misses have been pretty bad, and that was one of those where easily could have gotten by the catcher, but good footwork over there to get his chest protector out there and block that ball.
And that one is low as well.
One of those things, if you're Champlin Park, we're going to mound visit, but you're trying to put the pressure on Minnetonka, because if they bring in a relief pitcher, very pressure situation, and that's easy to try and squeeze the ball and lose control and not come in and consistently throw strikes. So I think that's what we're going to see here, is a pressure situation for a new relief pitcher.
Yeah, looks like Wheeler, they've seen enough and not going to take any chances. They'll head to the pen here. So Minnetonka still leading at 8-5, but the leadoff man aboard for Champlin Park in the top of the 7th. We will step aside here and come back with the conclusion of this great baseball game here on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is available on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, including full sporting events and daily newscasts. To find us, go to the store, search CCX, and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. The CCX Media app, available on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku.
A little cloudy, a little smoky here as we get our new pitcher, Freiberg.
A little cool, too. Surprisingly cool for high school baseball, state tournament time.
Hasn't pitched a whole lot this year. No record in 5 1/3 innings. Has struck out 6 batters. 5.25 ERA.
This is why you practice and you play all season, to make sure you have the right kids in the positions to make these outs. If you're Minnetonka, you bring in somebody you have confidence in and see if he can execute.
So Greer batting, it's already a 2-0 count that is inherited by Freiberg. Now 3-0.
Not necessarily a running situation. You don't want to take a risk of getting an out at second base, and 3-0 count you were expecting to take here.
Come to first with it instead. Fino's probably thinking just what you said. I'm not going anywhere. Throw it over here if you want, but that one is over for a strike.
Though it's not a running situation, you definitely do still want to be somewhat aggressive on a ball in the dirt.
Well, and you also want to get a good break in case there's a play at second, too.
You want to take that force out of play if possible.
And there's ball 4. Greer will draw a walk, which is charged against the previous pitcher Wheeler. So first and second and nobody out now, and Christian Dull will be the batter here for Champlin Park.
That's interesting baseball knowledge. I did not know that, but that makes sense. The walk goes to the pitcher who left the game, who started the count.
Dull has struck out and then walked the next 2 times. And there's strike 1.
And again, not in a position where you're going to drop down a sacrifice bunt, because those 2 runs aren't what you need. You need at least 3 to keep this game alive when you go into the bottom of the 7th.
To short. They'll get the out. Oh, no, they will not. Oh, yes, he called him out. Ooh, boy, he said it was on the transfer. I don't agree.
He's telling him to stay there. We're going to talk about it. Yeah, you tell your runner to stay there. That's a tough call at this point of the game.
So the hitter Dull will be aboard on a fielder's choice. Runners at first and third. I was starting to say out, but I don't think he ever fully had this ball, did he? No, that's...
He's getting too fancy. He's getting too fancy. He's trying to do the transfer too quick. He's trying to simplify the transfer and make his double play. Oh, not even close.
Jaden Oligmuller will be the hitter.
Ooh. Well, if you're Champlin Park, you got to put that behind you. You got to put it behind you. Can't let that impact how you play the rest of this game.
Takes that one for a ball. And then fouls that one off. Pitch in the dirt. Heitkamp making another block. So Rebels down 8-5. Runners at the corners and one disputed out.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
And that one hits him. So Jaden Oligmuller aboard on the hit by pitch. Bases will be loaded up, and we're going to have a pinch hitter here. Evan Cummings, Max Janish will bat.
And easy to say that should have been a run, but Minnetonka might not necessarily make that same pitching approach if the bases are full, but either way, it is tough to have that out at second base and not the runner down there, which would bring in a run. But that's behind you. You got to approach this game here with one out, bases loaded, try and get your runs across the plate to tie this game up, if not take the lead.
So Janish will bat. DeLong had been doing well, but it is lefty versus it would have been lefty versus lefty, and I think that's probably the reason that you're seeing Janish step in. Lifting it out to left field, a long run to it, and catch made. Lead runner is tagging. Skippers will not bother with that. So the second out is recorded. It is a sacrifice fly. And the Rebels to within 2, but Minnetonka playing it smart there, just trying to keep that next runner at second.
Yeah, good effort there by the left fielder. Quickly could get a good strong throw into the infield. They did appeal to third base. The umpire called him safe, said he did not leave early.
Brockton Sandell will be the batter here.
I like when teams do that. Don't make a big deal out of the appeal. Just let the umpire know you're appealing, make the appeal, and see what happens. If they call it safe, you just move on to the game. You don't complain.
Sandell, a chopper to third. It's a fair ball, and the race is won there by Mushard, and he'll get the out at third. And Minnetonka is going to advance to the championship game as they will hang on for an 8-6 win. Rebels made it interesting again those last couple innings. They got a couple in the 6th and then one in the 7th, but just leaving a lot of guys on base throughout the day. And a game, as we said, that had a little bit of everything, and Minnetonka is going to end up winning and advance back to that championship game. Good outing all the way around there. I mean, we saw a lot of offense, some good pitching and defense at times, at times that they needed them. Champlin Park will have to try and bounce back in the third place game, Drew.
Yeah, fun game to be a part of and watch. Tough loss for Champlin Park. They had plenty of opportunities. Played well, just weren't able to capitalize on the key points in the game. You know, when your hitters are getting 4 or 5 at-bats in the game, in a 7-inning game, you're doing something right. You're just not getting the key hits at the right time. And a fitting end to this game for Minnetonka, stranding 2 more base runners and getting out of this game with an 8-6 victory and advancing to the state championship. And like you said, their chance to win their first title game in program history. And what a great way to cap off a 50th season for this Minnetonka head coach. But again, great season for Champlin Park. They came into the section final, section game not as the favorite, but then they came back to win that second game of the championship day and advanced to state, and then pulled out the upset yesterday against Andover. So great season for them and something to build on for sure.
Rebels will play in the third place game, weather permitting. That is supposed to be later today here at CHS, and we'll see if that happens. But congrats again to Champlin Park on an excellent season, and that's going to do it for our coverage of this baseball season and also for this school year as well on CCX, our final high school broadcast of this season. We certainly hope you've enjoyed it. An entertaining game here at CHS. Again, it is Minnetonka defeating Champlin Park 8-6. For Drew Keogh and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. So long from CHS Field.